Engine 1 from car 1. Car 1's on scene. Assuming command. Give me a C.A.N report.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein. Stickers of the C.A.N report. Nozzle top, everybody. I have a very special guest today. Very well known. I would imagine a lot of people know who it is, but if you don't, it's Chief Rick Lasky. He is here on the C.A.N report. Thank you so much, Chief, for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm glad all the little technical snafus I have on my end, not your end, was able to get that figured out. So no, I'm happy to be here, brother.
Thank you so much, Chief. It really does mean a lot. This is definitely a big moment for me to have you here. I met you probably over 10 years ago now. You and Chief Lasky, you and Chief Salka were giving a classroom session at FDIC, and it was on RIT. And that was the first time I ever been to FDIC, and I made sure to sign up for your guys' class, and I absolutely loved it. I actually had him sign, had Chief Salka sign the book, First In, Last Out. So that I was really appreciative of that and appreciated the knowledge. So I still have the book. I'm actually staring at it in front of me, and now I'm actually talking to you guys. So this is amazing.
I've got it. I'm looking right here. I've got the first. I've got the I call it the test copy, the one I give out first, and then the second one. But yeah, so First and Last. It's a great book. John is incredible. He's been my best friend since the early '90s. I tell people all the time, my little brother passed away when he was 9 years old, and he came back to me through John Salka. He lives inside that body, that man. So
that's amazing.
It's my brother.
Wow, I love that. It's amazing to have a friendship for that long. That's impressive. I'm sure you guys have driven each other crazy. I'm sure.
Well, it's funny when I was honored to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award at the IC, Bobby Halton, when he was doing the talk, and he mentioned our friendship in front of everybody, and he said 28 whatever years or whatever like that. He goes, and we've never had an argument. John and I have never even had. We've never had an argument. We've never disagreed. Look, we go back and forth. We found each other. We've never. My wife says it's kind of cute because we get on the phone sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. And I'm like, what are you wearing? What are you doing? I'm watching Fox News. Well, I'm eating, well, he's my voice of reason. He's had no problem standing me on my head when I need it. He'll call me and go, okay, I need to talk to you. You know what I'm pissed about? I go, yeah. And we kind of balance each other. But yeah, he's a great guy.
That's awesome, Chief. I love what a great story for sure. And just before I get into it, I love to give a shout out to people who've helped me along to help keep the show running. Engine House Designs, one of our sponsors. He's a working firefighter out of Memphis, Tennessee. He makes T-shirts, flags, hats, especially for if you're looking for your business, your union, your department. He's got it. Hit him up. Also, he works with the Kitchen Table Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization based out of Arkansas that is helping first responders find mental health and anything else that they need. So the Kitchen Table Foundation, Engine House Designs, working together. He's making their T-shirts, their jackets for them. So please, if anyone's listening or watching, check out the Kitchen Table Foundation and also Engine House Designs. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into the Chief here because, man, I got you and I want to talk to you. So I just want to let everyone know that this is special because I know you're busy, you're at work right now, and I really appreciate you having the time to talk with me. You've had such an amazing career, and you're still going with it, Chief. And just to touch on things, Chief Lasky began his career early in the fire service in the suburbs of Chicago, following his father's footsteps. He has over 40 years of experience serving in various capacities, including firefighter, paramedic, and fire chief in multiple departments. He has also worked in Idaho. He retired from Louisville, Texas in 2011. And you also got the Innovator of the Year Award in 1996. And that was by the International Society of Fire Service Instructors for developing the Saving Our Own program, which teaches firefighters how to rescue their colleagues in distress. And you also have probably one of the most biggest books that are at the fire stations, Pride and Ownership, a firefighter's love of the job. And you have 5-alarm leadership from the firehouse to the fire ground. These works focus on the importance of passion and leadership in the fire service. Chief, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If there's anything else you want to hit on before we start, please, by all means.
No, we're good. I want to apologize ahead of time. I shut my radio off. I'm still at the firehouse where I'm fire chief, and I can't in my office turn down the whole CAD system. So if they bump out and run for the guys, they had a lake rescue earlier. You might hear some noise for a second, but it'll go away, I promise. But no,
No
it's good.
worries.
I'm live from Lucas, Texas. Uh, you know, I had the honor of working my way, like I said, to North Idaho to Coeur d'Alene. We could talk about one of my guys we lost back in June when they were ambushed.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Talk about
Actually,
that.
I would actually love to talk about that because I met Nick Waits at the March Mayhem Fire Conference just like the other month. And I got to talk with him briefly about his experience of him working with those brothers and how he lost them. And March Mayhem was dedicated to those members that were lost in an ambush.
John, yeah,
And
we could talk about that in a second. John Morrison, I love that guy. I miss him. He's in heaven right now. Frank Harwood as well. Dick Chisel, that's off. He's disabled now, um, but I had the honor. I'd still be in Coeur d'Alene if it wasn't for I'll get in trouble saying it's my practice wife, my first wife moving to South Lake, Texas when my son was
yes,
little. I'd still be in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's a great place, great fire department. I had the honor of serving 12 years in Louisville. My boss wanted me to spend 2 more, and my buddy John Salk, we talked about, had this dream to do what we're doing. Um, I served as interim chief in 11 different departments. I do that. I help a lot of people. And recently, a little over 4 months ago, I was brought on as the interim in Lucas, Texas, which is on the east side of Dallas. Great fire department, great city. Um, and I felt I broke my own rule when it comes to interim. It's like don't fall in love with your foster children because when they leave you, you're going to be brokenhearted. And we fell in love with this place. Absolutely incredible group of firefighters, an aggressive fire department with everything they do, especially fire attack. Um, they're hungry. They're awesome. I've got the dream team for a staff. I have a city manager who did 31 years as a firefighter. He gets it. He makes runs with us sometimes. He shows up. I love him dearly. And effective the 20th this month, I'll be their permanent chief. So
oh, wow.
uh, it wasn't even they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. It's God obviously wanted me to be here, and my wife and I are excited. Like I said, incredible group. But Lucas, Texas, and I'll just say, is any of your listeners, your viewers, if you make it to Dallas, come on by. The coffee pot's always on. You're always welcome, and come on by for a visit, and you'll see how incredible these guys are by doing that. So.
That's amazing, Chief. With that track record of you filling those capacities of chiefs, were you there as to get the department straightened up, or helping to fill that capacity until they found another chief, like kind of like a contracting type of work?
Yeah, I've been interim some places that were really in need of some fixing, some repair, riding the Titanic, if you will. This place is a good shop. The previous chief retired, and basically I needed an interim to come in and as I always say, tee it up for the next one. It was not my intention nor the bosses for permanent. I came in here. I always sit down. I'm like, okay, what are your marching orders? What do you want? What do you need? Um, and he said, number one, I want you to keep the guys safe. And number two, I want you to look at the shift change. We could talk about that. We changed our shifts, insert a step plan, I do it at all the places. An overall evaluation review of their operations, their SOPs, SOGs, how they operate, what they do. Is there anything that needs to be changed, finessed, fine-tuned, whatever, that kind of stuff. Staffing issues, firehouse locations, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I joked. I said they tricked me. I got here and I'm like, this place is pretty freaking awesome. And I've never felt this way. I've worked at some credible places as interim. One that pops in mind is Trophy Club, Texas, which is on the other side of Metroplex. That's another easy place to fall in love with. It's just the timing wasn't right, and that's another great fire department. But I had no idea this was going to happen. Neither did he. And yeah, but sometimes like there's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of work here. We have a lot of things we're doing, but it's an incredible team.
That's great. It's great, like you said, you don't want to fall in love with your foster kids, but and you end up doing that. And why do you do that? Like, you fill those positions. Is it just something you want to see the department get better? You see the fire service get better? Do they contact you to go to these different departments and see how you can make it to where they want it to be?
I do. So yes, a little bit of both. There's a firm, an incredible search firm, SGR, Strategic Government Resources, and they hire city managers, police chiefs, everybody. And they have about 600 interims if you count them for like interim city managers, HR directors, and all that. So at times they'll approach you and say, "Hey, Beaverville is looking for an interim. Would you be interested?" And a lot of times it's about calendar and scheduling and commitments. This one just hit at the perfect time. Like I said, I think God had his hand in this. Um, but and then a lot of places I'll get the city manager this call. I do a lot of I do a lot of mediation. I do a lot of labor management stuff. I do a lot of I do some arbitration, the labor management stuff on both sides. I've been in the line of duty at the investigation since 1990. So a lot of work, and not just with fire chiefs. I've done leadership coaching for public works directors, parks directors. We do a lot of corporate classes, a lot of from Dow Chemical to Marathon to Lockheed Martin to Morgan Stanley to Johnny Carino's restaurants, all 6 branches of the military. So we kind of bounce around. So I'll get phone calls from a city manager. Go, Chief, it's Wednesday. I need you here Monday. The union just dropped a vote of no confidence on our chief, and I'll go and vet that to see if it's legit, because it's not always legit. I got to be honest with you. Not all chiefs are mutts.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, in a nutshell, the reason I love fixing things. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a know-it-all. I make fun of people with egos. Egos eat brains. I laugh at myself all the time. I make fun of myself all the time. Me and my buddy John Salka do that to each other to kind of keep ourselves humble where we're at. We always say we're just Yuts firefighters. Every Marine's a rifleman. Every sailor's a firefighter. I believe every fire chief should be a firefighter, and I'll never
Mm.
let go of that. I crawl hallways. I fight fires. I punch holes in roofs. I teach hands-on training. I'm in my 46th year without my 4 years explorer, and I absolutely love it. I can't think of anything else I want to do in life, um, besides be with my family. So I, I I like doing it because, especially maybe in a place that's struggling, I want to go somewhere where I can help someone get back to where the women and men that work there love coming to the firehouse, love coming to work. That my firehouse has always been my sanctuary.
Mm.
That should be where I should go, where I'm with my brothers and sisters, where I can go, where I can laugh, I can cry, I can get angry. They understand my mood swings. We're truly a family. Volunteer career. The only difference is one gets paid and one doesn't. So let's talk about that real quick. That's the only
Absolutely.
difference. We die the same. Fire don't care. We'll kill your ass dead. Doesn't care where you volunteer career fire for. We go to the same memorial. But this is my sanctuary. This is where I come to have coffees. I love the kitchen table, sitting around a table, talking shop. John and I do it. We'll travel. We'll go to dinner, and at night we end up we were just in Evansville, Indiana. We taught all day. We went to dinner, and then the chiefs all said, "Come on, we're going to." They have 16 stations. One firehouse, one for coffee. Guys came back off duty, and we just sit, talk shop. But that's my goal. I want to get. If I have a hand, I want to get a place to where they love coming to work and try to fix things along the way. The nice thing about the interim is I don't have an oar in the water. I'm the most objective person in the firehouse. So I can sit there and tell a city manager, tell guys, that ain't right, this ain't right, that ain't right, because I don't need a job. I have a pension. I don't need to be a fire chief. So I can go in there very objectively and go, how can we make this place better? And number one, I meet with everybody. Like here, I met with everybody individually. Tell me your likes, your dislikes, your desires, what drives you crazy, what do you love the most. I even talked to other department directors, public works, because I found out a lot there. Somebody had pissed off public works from down here, so I had to mend that fence. And a lot of little things like that. I'm the one with the pom poms out there banging a drum, bragging about the fire department, but also making sure that everyone else in the city knows we're part of the team. And I need my public works people as much as they need us, as much as we need our law enforcement family, and so on and so forth. So that's the main reason, is to get in there and see what I could do to make the place even better, and be that person that listen. I want to be the fire chief that I always wanted to work for. So that's
Yeah. What is it that do you have found like a common theme when you go in to try to repair some damage? Is there one priority or topic that stands out above the rest when you go to these various departments that you have to usually fix?
Yeah, sadly, it's a leadership issue.
Hmm.
I've met very few firefighters. I've been traveling nationally teaching since 1990. And I've met very few firefighters who are true mutts. And mutts come in all shapes. They're not just fire chiefs. There's firefighters that are mutts too. Real quick, I could have sum it up this way with that. I have an article in the hopper with fire engineering. I've been with Fire Engineering Magazine since 95 and FDIC since they bought it in 96 on the advisory board. Um, the article's called, it's a class I do called The Squeaky Hedge, not the squeaky wheel, the squeaky hedge. And everybody knows building construction. You know it very well. Knows there's usually 3 hinges on every door. Some have 4, there's usually 3 hinges. And if one of them's squeaky, and again, if you know building construction, it's almost always the bottom hinge. All day long, squeak, 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 squeak. It's in your office. It's driving you crazy. You yell for one of the guys, go get the damn WD-40. They spray the hinge, and it's good. We're having anxiety attacks because there's one damn hinge. But we forget to recognize there's 2 other hinges on the door. They've done the same and equal amount of work all day long, but you never hear a peep out of them. So what that means is, there's just under 40,000 fire departments in the United States alone. We've got our brothers and sisters in Canada, but I'm going to pick on the United States. So just under 40,000. That means there's a little over 1.2 million firefighters. That means there's hundreds of thousands of great firefighters in a few months. It means there's tens of thousands of great company officers in a few months. It means there's thousands of great chiefs in a few months. Sometimes we focus on them and not the rest. So it always is a leadership issue. It's a chief or a couple bosses who have forgotten their way. They forgot what it's like to sleep in a firehouse or get up at 2 a.m. when the pager goes off and go to a call as a volley. They've forgotten what it's like to sit in comfortable furniture, what it's like to get mandatory at overtime, what it's like. I did an article on fire engineering called The Human Factor, and it was a reminder of volunteer fire chiefs, and we can hit on this later if you like, Mike.
Yes, please.
This isn't the old volunteer fire service where you can run out of Billy's hardware store when they blow the siren and nobody cares. Volunteer firefighters are working 2 jobs. A lot of them try to put food on the table, money to a college fund, and still make their kids recitals, soccer games, and softball games, and still make drill night, meeting nights, fundraisers, and calls. And a lot of chiefs have forgotten that. Or it's a career guy who is a volunteer chief on his days off, and he's sitting in his recliner, God bless you, at his full-time job. He's making up rules for guys that are working 40 hours a week or more. So there's a lot of, God bless the chiefs, all right? But there's a lot of them who have lost their way. It becomes them versus us. They've forgotten that every firefighter has their strengths and weaknesses, and that firefighters are going to bitch and complain like nobody else. They 2 things what they hate. They hate change and the way things are.
Yes, sir.
And that it's not personal, it's business. I don't care if they use you. I don't care if they're M&F and Lasky. It's not me. It could be Wilson tomorrow, who's the chief. When you start taking this stuff personal, they're going to make up stories about you. They're going to lie about you, all kinds of things. You have to wrestle through that. When it comes to social media, I tend to apply it to a lot of things. So there's Carrie Underwood is awesome. I adore her. She's a great Christian and everything else. Her phrase when it comes to social media is post it, then ghost it.
Yeah.
Posting, don't read, because I hate seeing myself in videos, listening to my voice. There's always the haters. There's always the trolls. There's always people that are going to just, I'm jealous because you got a better mustache than me. I'm just saying that. Or, what I'm saying? It's all this penny ante crap and all that stuff. But more often than not, I must tell you, using my buddy John Salka's phrase, I must tell you, it's almost always a leadership issue. And if you could fix the leadership, if you could fix the mentoring, you could fix the stuff at the top. My godfather, Chief Al Brunacini, used to say, you can't shit up. It starts somewhere. Pardon me for cussing on your show.
Oh, you're good to go.
You can't do that, right? So it does come down to the leader. And if you believe in your people, if you support your people, even the ones that are a thorn in your side are probably the ones you need to work with the most, by the way. Everybody can hang with the happy, smiley guys and all that stuff. Sometimes the other ones are screaming for a mentor and a leader. That's the biggest issue. It's usually a leadership issue.
That's a great point, Chief. And actually, since we're talked about it real quick, on the volunteer side, because I used to be a call member and then I transitioned to career. And what you talked about is exactly how I felt. And I made it pretty transparent about my history of my previous department, starting from a call member, working career. I feel I have a huge heart for the volunteers, for the call members. And like you said, leadership is usually the big thing. I've seen I still see it that the call members and volunteers, they put up with a lot. Like you said, they're leaving their homes at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting in their trucks, going to the station, getting in their gear, going to the rig, and then they get back at 3 o'clock in the morning, go home, maybe get 3 hours of sleep, and then go to work and work their 8 to 12 hour job, right? And usually they do it without a thank you at all. And obviously, we didn't sign up to be thankful or to be thanked all the time. We're doing to serve our community because we live in that town and we want to make sure we're providing that service because who else is going to do it? But when they're faced with bad leadership, they don't have that person to fight from. If it's the chief that is battling them and is belittling them and is not who he or she should be, they have nobody to turn to. It's in that small town politics comes into play, and I've seen that so much, and that I think from what I hear from others as well when they reach out to me, they struggle a lot with standards, but also that the chief is not holding up his end of the deal and being the person that they should be and supportive of them and help them and appreciate them, and then they can't really go to complain to anybody. So if they go to human resources, that human resources person's going to go right back to the chief because there's nobody else to talk to. And that chief's going to come down on that firefighter and make their lives a living hell where eventually they quit or they just continuously have to deal with that wrath. Do you see that or do you hear a lot of that? Because I still feel that and I still see that from a lot of people who are volunteers and call members. They always say, I got nowhere to go. I have my career. I want to do this. I don't want to leave, but I have a chief that hates me. Like that's a real world problem.
Oh, it is. And I get a lot of guys and I feel bad for them because they'll call me, they'll text, they'll email, and they'll message and they're saying, I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
I love being a volunteer. I love serving. And there's a difference. You said it. You said it very well. There's a difference between needing your shoulders rubbed and thanked and being appreciated. Being appreciated is not an ego thing. Now, being
Correct.
appreciated is not a I need my shoulders rubbed thing. Being appreciated is just that someone appreciates what you're doing for the community, for the department, for each other, and so on and so forth. So yes, being appreciated is huge. You know, it is a struggle because for volunteers that understand volunteerism and why you do it in the first place, you're not doing it. Most aren't doing it for the money. Wichita West, where I serve as a volunteer, I can't now. I love those guys. The Chief Ryan Fetzer is incredible. Um, uh, they don't get a penny. There's no on call. There's nothing. They do fundraisers all the time. I was always cooking something. We're always looking for donations, whether it's water or Gatorade or whatever, and they're an incredible group. But even there, you're not free. The chief, Ryan is challenged with that whole balancing of, what is a legitimate complaint versus someone who maybe hasn't moved out of their parents' basement yet. That's the hard thing, is to figure out what's legitimate, what's not. Is somebody just complaining because they're complaining, or is there a real issue? And that's where the good leaders know how to spend time figuring it out.
Mhm.
You're able to identify what is a legitimate concern and what isn't. And we lose good people, especially on the volunteer side, because they're not listened to. You said it. Um, again, it goes back to a chief that's lost his way. Maybe he or she got promoted beyond their capabilities, or they're the best guy or gal at the time, or they got enough votes, if that's how you get voted in, unless you're appointed. Um, we're the only profession, by the way, volunteer or career, pretty much, that promotes people without preparing them. We front load you. We either put you through a fire academy, our own fire 1 and 2 training, some type of certified first responder, EMT, even paramedic school, hazmat awareness, first responder, maybe a little trench stuff, and then we kick you loose. We do Monday night drills for your volley plays or drill on shift, and then a couple of years later, there's a bump in the road, and you're driving, and then I see this with our company officer academy that John and I do. I ask guys, raise your hands right now if you can remember what 3 things you used from the class they sent you how to be a company officer before you're ever allowed to ride the front seat. And they all laugh. They do this, nothing. I go, wait a minute. You mean we front load you with all this information and then we promote you later and we don't do nothing for you?
Mhm.
You want to hear something scary? Put chief in the title. Battalion, Deputy District Division Assistant, Chief of Department. The men and women in the whole joint receive the least amount of training. Well, I go to National Fire Academy. I go to the fire, well, that's great too, but who's teaching you how to make things happen in the firehouse? So now you roll it back to what you're saying. You have somebody who's kind of, I don't want to say outclassed, but they've been outpaced by the organization. And when you take someone who's never been through any type of leadership training, coaching, counseling, how to lead, how to deal with problems, how to deal with different personalities, different people. Um, if all they're relying on is I've worked for this business or my own business and I'm doing the best I can, God bless them, you run into that. And sometimes they get boxed into a corner and then emotions take over, which is always the worst thing you do is render decisions or take action when you're emotional. And the next thing you know, the guy's going, my chief hates me. Nobody listens to me because, and then some of these guys or gals are like, it's hard enough to deal with one person and their situation. Now you got three people you're dealing with. And I've said this, I do a class called Great Leaders Make Difficult Decisions. And like we high five after a good job. You come out after an hour, we're fist bumping, we're like, yeah, all this, a good pin in. As bosses, why do we not high five when we put out people fires? And I
Yeah.
used to do this, and I do it here with my two assistant chiefs where you go, yes, that worked out perfect. It had nothing to do with fighting fires. It had to do with a personnel problem or a situation. And again, years ago, I'm having dinner with two of my idols, Chief Alan Brunacini and Chief Tom Brennan. And, Tommy's like, hey, so Ricky, how they treating you in Texas? I go, well, if it wasn't for the people, it'd be a great job. And Bruno goes, hey, dumbass, if it wasn't for the people, you wouldn't have a job. I'm like, right. And we look at personnel problems as like hardships. That's your damn job.
That's your
You
job.
you started pinning all these on, and the more you pin, I know sometimes they're called trumpets, sometimes they're called funnels, but that's your job. So if you want to whine or complain about it, get a good therapist. If you want to be a good boss, to a great boss, to be a leader, then step up and do your job. And you can't not help people because they rub you the wrong way or you don't like them. Liking has nothing to do with it. Leadership and parenting. You got you got kids that just hit it, and you got the one that's a challenge, and you don't blow the one off as a good parent. In fact, you spend some effort on that person. So yeah, it's all about preparation and what are we doing to get people ready. And unfortunately, we're the fire service, man, and we're the last ones they think about when it comes to budgets and money. Now here, not here, but I say it all the time. I love my law enforcement family. My wife, me, I was a cop. I wasn't very good at it. I got shot, stabbed, and burned my first year as a cop, so I sucked at it. But God bless law enforcement. They get billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. And we have several hundred million, like 320 roughly for like the AFG grant just under 40,000 firebrands are fighting with. We're
Yeah.
spending $1.2 million on a pumper. So let's have 50 fire departments put in for and get awarded $1.2 million and add that up, and the money's going away.
Yeah.
So where's our money, kind of thing? And we need more people fighting for us. We need more people. Don't just go to the congressional dinner and get your pictures taken with a bunch of politicians that are going to do nothing for you. Find the ones that are going to do something for us. And give us our damn money so we can buy 2 sets of gear for our guys if we have to help prevent cancer. And and we can get our guys the mental health training that they need because it's not normal to see what a firefighter sees.
Hmm.
So I kind of vent where I'm going, where's our damn money?
Yeah.
And we need more people with influence fighting for us. I'm blessed. I have an incredible city manager in Lucas. I love work. I love the guy. I love working for him because he gets it. Not all bosses get it. So we need to start working more towards that.
Is that like the second thing you see a lot? Then I imagine is you have the personnel issue, the leadership issue, and I imagine second's got to be budgets. Is just the department's not having the money.
Yes, everybody faces that. And look, most cities are doing what they can to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, and they're trying to hold the line, especially now things are more and more expensive and apparatus money is out of control. And
Hmm.
you put the F word, fire department. You and I can go to Home Depot right now, buy a hammer for $6. Try it. Take a magic marker at fire department. It's going to cost you $6,000 now, right?
Yes, sir.
It's like, good God Almighty. But Yeah, budgets. So I just got us. I hope you don't mind me plugging them.
Oh, by all means.
I just wrote a grant. We've been writing grants here, and I'm a big one about free money. And the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, Firehouse Subs.
Great company, by the way.
Oh
They
my
do great.
God.
Yeah, they do great.
Buy your sandwiches there. The money goes towards firefighter owned and operated. This is my fourth Firehouse Subs grant I've been able to help departments with. We
Wow.
just got a grant for $27,000 worth of turnout gear for my guys.
That's
I
awesome.
love them. I support them. I love what they do. They go out of their way to bend over backwards to help fire departments with equipment and needs to be able to do their jobs better, fire prevention, operations, everything. But there's a lot of low hanging fruit out there if you're willing to spend the time. Jeff Bryant is with Dingus that I'm sorry, I mentioned other company. Sorry.
No, please, by all means. You're good. You're good, Chief.
Jeff Bryant is one of us. Jeff is a fire chief. He just retired. I think he's over, golly, man. I forget how many tens of millions of dollars. He's an incredible grant writer. His nickname is the Brain. He just came and did he'll do a free grant writing workshop anywhere in the United States.
Oh, wow. That's
He
nice.
wants to get fire departments money. So he came out and did the first one and he exposed people. We had a whole bunch of different departments here to the do's and don'ts of grant writing. Guys that were doing safer grants are going, all right, I know where I screwed up already. I know it's been he goes, if you did these, you got rejected here, 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 and here. And everybody's looking at each other. He's coming back to another workshop where everybody attends in class can help them write their grants right there.
Wow.
So there's people out there that will help you. But there's a lot of ins and outs. It's all about verbiage. How do you, what argument, what did you pitch as your reason for not having enough money and what are your needs? It's all about wording. Don't get too AI-ish, but there's a lot of AI can help you. But anyway, yeah, there's funding. I call it creative financing. Where I want to do more with what a mentor taught me this years ago. You should be able to do more with what you already have before you do more with less. And
I like that.
over my shoulder is my buggy, my Tahoe. Before my guys go without I should have bald tires. A fire chief should have bald tires on his fire SUV before his guys and gals go without. I've got in the chief's cars, God bless them, that had latte machines and disco balls. That's an old dance for some of your younger viewers. They've got all the gold and everything else, and the guys are wearing holy gear and crappy nozzles. It's about your people first. We're ordering turnout gear. I've got my turnout gear. I had a vendor give me a free set of turnout gear. I'm the last one that's getting another set of turnout gear. Until my guys have what they need, everything goes in them first. All right. And that's how it should be. But bringing it back to, yes, funding is an issue. Trying to get people. We're adding some people here in Lucas. Trying to get people, personnel related are your most expensive thing. But funding is an issue. So if you're smart and you know how to market your mission, if you know how to do certain things, if your chief's down there bragging at you about City Hall saying our guys just tore up a shower stall and redid it themselves so they didn't want nobody else messing with their firehouse, back to the pride and ownership. Where some people it's not my job, that's well, that's right. Those are the same guys that think lift assists are a nuisance. And you want more money during negotiations time or more money for your volunteer fire department, go pick up someone's grandmother off the floor. It's the pyramid.
Yes,
And
sir.
let them tell their neighbors, their friends, their family, all this different stuff, everybody at the senior center and all that stuff. You want more money? Go after the people that put those people in office. When you lobby for one politician, they're one vote. And then you get pissed off when they don't do anything for you. You know how to take smartness is going after the people that put them in office, figuring out ways to read to kids and chase smoke detector batteries, go to senior center, take blood pressures and talk to those people. Oh my God, we love our firefighters and all that stuff, because that's where the money's going to come from. Old people have no filters.
No.
They will get in the mayor's face and tell him or her that they need to give the fire department more money and scare them that they're going to get them booted out of office. They don't do that. So it's about, for fire chiefs, it's about that political finesse, knowing how to make things work, how to make your bosses look good without being a kiss ass, and how to do those things for them. But yeah, budgets are always a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything's like a Google or a Yelp review. from the chief on down. Like you said, like the chief's got to be a good face for the department, and work with their political figures to try to get that money in. But then us, the ones on the line, we have to be the face of the department. And when it comes to lift assist, we got to treat them right, because if we treat them like crap, they're gonna make that Yelp
You're
review.
the
And
ambassadors. You just said it. Like,
exactly,
look, I am the ultimate ambassador for the Lucas Fire Department. My job is to go out there. I run through the little toy helmets, the kids' helmets and the badges. I run through them. I had to replenish. When kids wave, I pull over and
yeah,
I do a mini swearing in on the curb. I give them a helmet. I make them take an oath to listen to mommy, daddy, that the Lucas Fire Department is the best firefighters in the world, and and then I put a badge on them. And their parents take pictures. Everybody does stuff. But you're right. At 2 in the morning, it's the guys and gals on the engine that are in the house. At 5 in the morning, it's the guys and gals that wear firefighter lieutenant's helmets that are helping somebody off the floor. You know, they're the ones out there. They're the ones you said the face. They're the ones that are at the grocery stores. They're the ones that are out there doing the pre-plans. Us firefighters, and I'm a firefighter. I'm a fire chief. All right. I'm a firefighter masquerading as a fire chief. I'm just saying we have the greatest opportunity to market our mission if we're smart about it. So you're exactly
absolutely.
right. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you were
Oh,
so
you're
right
great.
about being an ambassador, man.
Absolutely, chief. And it's the same thing. Just to tie in with that is, we talk about the leadership, is that like you said, like you now have to retain and recruit. That's what you're trying to do right now for the Lucas Fire Department. And I bring it back to a Google or a Yelp review. If you're an ass as a chief, and you treat people poorly, that person's going to leave. He's going to tell 2 friends. They're going to tell 2 friends, and they're going to tell 2 friends. And then when you try to recruit, you're not going to get the numbers, because they're going to say, no way. Mike Goldstein told me how much that chief sucked, and I don't want to be a part of that.
You made me think of something, Mike, because I do programs on recruitment and retention. I help a lot of people with that. And you get there and they want to talk benefits. They want to talk pay, pension, apparatus, stations, what shift do you work, and all that stuff. But you know what, to be honest, you know what very few places talk about when it comes to recruitment retention? Fire chief.
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right. You hit it right there. You hit it right on the head. I go to places and go, why nobody wants to work here? Because he's an asshole. He bullies them, he yells at him, he screams at him, he insults them. He's like, there's your problem. And as much as some people argue with you and I about this, most people, you read this all the time, most people don't leave a job because of the pay. They leave because of a toxic environment or bad leadership.
Yes, sir.
When I was in Louisville, I won't say where, we hired, I think we were up to like 18 people from a neighboring department we hired that gave up big money to come work in Louisville, Texas, another great fire department with great leadership. Mark McNeil's the chief there right now. I love Mark. He's awesome. And these guys left these other fire departments because they got tired of being beat down. They got, you know, you shouldn't flinch when your chief pulls into the parking lot. All right, you can go, okay, boss is here, officer on deck, chief in the house, all that stuff. But I was never scared of my chief, Bob Rubel, when I worked in Bedford Park. I was scared to death of disappointing him. But I was not, he never gave me any reason. Now, look, I was scared of, oh my God, I'm going to get my ass chewed because I screwed up. I was never afraid of the man. I was afraid of disappointing him.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think that's how it should be. You should be scared out of your mind to disappoint your bosses, but not afraid of them. If your people are scared of you for some reason, I don't have to bully nobody, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, or browbeat them. So there's a big difference, and I think that's not kissing people's ass. Colin Powell says, being responsible means pissing people off sometimes. It happens. As a fire chief, if you're making everybody tizzy happy, you have to make decisions sometimes that guys don't understand. You have to make decisions sometimes that you can't explain. I've worked at places where we've had to terminate someone where everybody was they were throwing, oh my God, Hager, he's such a great guy. This is a brother. And I'm like, and I can't say nothing because of confidentiality, but if you knew what this guy did behind your backs, every one of you would have taken him and thrown him off a building.
Yeah.
If you knew it, but I can't say nothing. So you
Right.
sit there like this and you go inside, if you guys only knew, and you scumbag. I'm like, I'd love you. Eventually somebody comes back and says, oh, I found out what happened afterwards. Yeah, really? Change your mind now? You know, so there's things you can talk about as a boss, things you can't. But you hit it right on the head. A lot of recruitment retention issues are because nobody wants to work for the leadership that's there. And some
That's
of it,
absolutely right.
some of the lieutenants and captains too, mind you. You know,
Oh, absolutely. I think for generation stuff is that the kids are smart today. They do their homework, and I love that they do that. And so for them, from what I see, they don't really look at the pay. They don't look at the health benefits, right? They're not looking because they're kids. They're 18, 19 years old. They are not looking at that. What they want to know is it going to be a badass department? Do I get to do a lot of fires? Do I get to do cowboy shit? And am I going to work with people who actually give a shit about me? Is the chief going to like me? Is the crews going to like me? And they're going to ask around of people who work for that department. And if they're not, and anybody's listening and watching, you should. That's honestly one of the top things on their list is they should be looking at that department and see what the morale is like. And I always encourage people who are curious about whatever department they're going to, I always encourage them, go for a ride along. Check out, interview them. They're interviewing you. Interview them and see what the flow is. What is the traffic on the floor? Are you hearing guys piss and moan because of this or because of that? If you hear so much grumbling and you're only there for 5 hours, might not be the place you want to be at. Granted, we love to complain,
if you're a
right?
visitor and they're willing to do it in front of you.
Right, exactly. That's the thing is usually we're on our best behavior and we try not to complain in front of potential recruits. But if they don't care and they're literally bitching in front of you for that time frame, it might not want to be the place you work at. And that starts from the top down.
I remember when John Salka's son Brian, he's a lieutenant in Goose Creek, South Carolina. He and his wife Rachel's a cop. She's on that live PD show. They ride with her. Berkeley County, look for Rachel Salka. They ride with her like almost every weekend.
That's awesome.
Brian worked in Wichita, Kansas, another incredible fire department. Sammy Hiddle, shout out to Sammy. Great department. And he was working there. She got homesick for home and they moved back east. But when he went there, he just stopped in to talk. And a captain says, "You interested in being a firefighter?" He said, the captain was walking away. He says, he turns around and goes, "Look, understand this. We're not looking for employees here. We're looking for firefighters. Now let me show you the place." And you said something like, when I got here to Lucas, I told these guys, if I can't be part of the best, I don't want to be. So tell me right now, if I'm way too competitive. I've never been second in my life. I did my time with the Chicago White Sox. I'm in both softball Hall of Fames. I've never been picked second in my life. If I can't be part of the best, I don't want to be here. So if you're not, and it's a mindset.
Yeah.
When you think you're better, and we're better than them, and we're better than them, we're better than them, you'll find a way to back it up. Otherwise, it's empty arrogance. And there's a bunch of great fire departments around here. Don't get me wrong. I've got a bunch of them. 3 of them come to mind every time: Parker, Fairview, and Princeton. I love fighting fires with them. I love going to jobs with them because they get it. They're aggressive. I mean, I was teasing the guys from Princeton. I've been to like 7 jobs since I've been here. I go, you guys suck. And I go, what? I go, I'm on the way here. I can see the header. I can see the fire. By the time I get here, it's out. Can you leave us something to do when we get here? And they laugh because they're so freaking safe. You could be aggressive and safe. People
100%.
being word. No, it's not. We fight. We're successful. You know this. We fight fires with a coordinated aggressiveness. The word you need to be concerned with is reckless, not aggressiveness. When you become reckless, I've been doing a lot of do that stuff for a long time. When you become reckless, you get people hurt and killed.
Yes, sir.
But a coordinated aggressive fire attack is how we are successful. And Princeton, Fairview, Parkview, those 3 come. There's some other great departments around here as well. Wiley's next to us. They do a great job. I love their guys and gals. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there that claim to be great and they couldn't put a fire on a top hat. I've watched them. If you think you're perfect fire department, let Rick Lasky and John Salka sit on the curb. We'll pick it apart right and left,
Actually, that would be a great episode right there of you guys doing a play-by-play. Well, I'll get the gold jackets here. I got one behind me. We could sit down and do an NFL play-by-play. Absolutely, Chief. And you're absolutely right, because I think of it that way is confidence and being competent is going to be aggressive behavior. Because you know your skills, you know your levels, and you're comfortable with that. You know that you can perform aggressively.
Exactly.
I think you become reckless when you don't know your level and you start trying to be a cowboy, and that's when usually people start hurting themselves or things go wrong. But being comfortable, confident, and ready to rock, you train with your crew is that beautiful symphony. You're ready to go.
Oh, and I said this here, and I made this point to a couple of places I was teaching at recently. I love the kitchen table talks. I love talking shop with the guys, right? When the doorbell rings, two of them will get up and tear ass to the front door
Yeah.
to see who's there. And it's kind of a competition where they're almost tackling each other to beat people to the door. And I tell people, if my guys are willing to race each other to the door when somebody comes and rings the doorbell, they will race to the rig. And we reduce response times by getting out the door quickly, not by driving fast, slow. The faster you're out the door safely, but the faster you're out the door, and it's not just bumbling around. It's just any call. Doesn't matter what call it is. Every call is met with gusto. It doesn't matter. They're just like Chief Paul Dow, the chief of McKinney, Texas, 10, 11 stations. Another great boss, came from Albuquerque. I love this guy. He gets it. He's one of us. He knows fires. He knows tactics. He came over to have coffee, and the guys they were like, Chief Dow's here from McKinney, Texas, and he's talking, and they catch a boat rescue on the lake here, and it was like before the tones go off, you'll see the reader board, bink, it'll pop, and they were out the door, gone. There was dust that fast. And he goes, I go, they do it all the time, Chief. He goes, that's awesome. So yeah, if you're willing to commit to something special, which I think most firefighter, Mike, I think they want to be that way. I don't know many firefighters that wear the company logo shirt that says we suck less than them. They all want to be the best. They all want to be better. And I like that healthy competition.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to get water quicker? What do we have to do to stretch a line quicker? What do we have to do to get to the roof quicker? What do we have to do to be better? We don't have to do. We have to train. And it's always amazing to me. My buddy's from Stockton, California, another great fire department. Watch Stockton's videos, Wichita's videos. Why is it the fire departments that are the busiest job-wise, fire-wise, why do they train more than the departments that don't make as many runs? You would think the departments a little bit slower would be training more. The guys that seem to fight the most fires seem to train the most. And I'm like, I've thought about that. The guys are out there timing each other. How they sit there ready, go. And the guy puts his turnout gear as fast as he can in his air pack. And he gets, after he's done, hand up in air, he turns around, beat that. And he takes his stuff off. And the next guy goes, yeah, really watch this. All of a sudden becomes this competition to see who can get their gear on faster.
Yeah.
And the more repetition, the faster you get, the little tricks you do to get in your coat. John Sulka talks about it. One of our buddies did a class called They're Not Our Seconds. Every second you shave off your time, that's a second less someone's laying in smoke, unconscious, not breathing or whatever.
Yes,
They're not our seconds. You take that extra bite, you bring your plate of food with you, you're slow with your gear. Baltimore County just did it. They just posted a video, BCFD, engine truck, the buff that was in there filmed them. I mean, if you were in the way, they would have ran you over with their feet to get to the rink. And I like that. I like guys that are into the job, man. In the Bronx with John, I've never been in one of his 18th Battalion firehouses where they will not run you over to get out the door. And you will not beat them into their first due area. If you're first due, you better get the hell out of the way because they're coming, But anyway, yeah.
And it's great to have that. That's that culture. That's the morale. That's the buy-in from officers, senior guys, probies, and you're instilling that. And again, that comes back to the whole thing of, honestly, is recruitment and retention. Is that guys want to be with each other. It's a good connection. They have that bond, and that comes a lot too. And I actually hit on this topic too. Do you see a decrease in that the connection outside of the firehouse? Because I believe that connection and bond doesn't just hold water inside the firehouse, that it also needs to be carried outside, that get to know your fellow brothers and sisters outside of the uniform.
We talked about that here. I said, what we need to get back to in the fire service. When I was growing up in the fire service, it was kind of like the mafia. If someone's kid had a birthday party, we were all there. If someone's anniversary party, we were all there. If it was a special, we were all there. If there was a reason for us to have a barbecue, we were all there. And it was like, if you could make it, it's because you were on a cruise ship somewhere or whatever. You were expected to show up. Whether you were single, married, had 20 kids or 2 kids, that's what you did. So behind me, I don't know if you can see, there's a picture of John Travolta, right? JT's a friend of mine. And he's one of my honorary captains and one of my honorary chiefs from Louisville. If you were able to widen out, you see there's a picture of Ladder 49. I helped him with that movie. And one of the many things I helped him with the movie, not only the Mayday stuff, was the balance of being that captain that is part of the crew, but is also the boss. And one of the things you saw there was a lot of gatherings together. The one scene where he's at Joaquin Phoenix's house and all the guys are there, they're already shit-faced and they're singing, and they're doing all their stuff and everything. He goes, time for me to leave. The boys and girls are having fun. Time for me to, anyway. Yeah, we need more of that. You know why? And you kind of hinted towards this. If we're connected as a family away from these firehouse doors, then we truly are a family, which means like one of our guys was moving and they were texting me the pictures of the guys. They were all helping. They're all there and they're goof ass balls, hiding in cabinets, doing stuff, everything else. You know, it's not everywhere and it's not with everybody, but if you truly believe and understand what this whole brother-sister thing does, and the word brotherhood, there's a her in my brotherhood. If you understand what the fire service represents, that stuff comes easy. Everybody wants to talk a big thing about PTSD, mental health, always being a brother and all that stuff. Well, anybody can be your brother or sister at a fire. I got your back, man. How about away from the firehouse? And none of that happens unless you know each other outside the firehouse. You go golfing together, you go barbecue together, you go to football, you go to kids' birthday party together, whatever. And I've been to people's houses for events for someone that I didn't necessarily get along with all the time at work. We all have brothers and sisters that we may not like as much in our real life, our real family, our first family. We have food fights there and we have food fights at the firehouse. So you are exactly right. We need to reconnect and we need people to step up. I say this when John, I say this at Company Officer Academy about that. We talk about the traits of that great company officer. And one of them is they make training fun, meaning away from the firehouse. So what they do is they say, hey guys, hey, next month, Chief Salka is going to be over in Beeperville. We're all going. I'm going to get A shift to come in early for us. We're going to have breakfast first. We're going to go, and afterwards, tell your spot. We're going to TR's for some pizza and beer after. They make the event enjoyable. They kind of go, we're going as a team. We're going to do it. Hey, Bedford Park's got their fundraising golf outing, whatever. All right. Hey, we're all going. It's kind of like New York City has the line of duty t-shirts, right? When someone's killing line of duty, immediately they go out and they have a t-shirt made in memory of that firefighter. And a piece of paper goes on the wall of 300 firehouses, 11,500 people on the suppression side. And everybody buys a t-shirt for $20. Let me say that again. Everybody buys a t-shirt for $20. I usually buy 4 or 5. And all that money goes to the stricken family to fly people in for the funeral, for whatever, all the different, all that stuff.
A huge fundraiser right there.
All that stuff comes easy if you truly practice the fire service family, both in and out of the firehouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're exactly right.
Absolutely, Chief. And you hit it right there real quick too, is that we shouldn't just be doing one to have a line of duty death. I feel like we come together as this beautiful union and we're here for each other. We love each other. We throw our arms around each other's necks when it's a death, and it's a tragic thing when it happens. And right now, actually, in my neck of the woods, we're dealing with two deaths, unfortunately. But we come together so well, but we need to do it before that happens. Because like we all know that our days are too short, that you just never know what's going to happen. And
who's it easier to go talk to when you're happy? Because we talked about at the beginning of the show, it's not normal to see what a firefighter sees. So who's it easier to go talk to when you need to maybe release a little bit of emotions? The person you're comfortable with, or the person you don't even know that sits across the kitchen table from you?
Yeah.
This is where we lean on each other. This is where we come together as a family. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
And it's I have one of my captains I work with. We talk to each other all the time. We text all the time. The rank is out the door. We are texting as brothers, and we talk about our feelings. We talk about things that might be plaguing us, but we have that connection and that trust where I can open up that door of communication, and he can do it with me as well. It's not a rank thing. It's not. It's literally just talking about each other's problems instead of getting them bottled up and complaining because this chief is this or that officer's that. We literally just talk, and we feel better. But he's a very big advocate for that union, for that brotherhood, for that sisterhood. He's a huge advocate for the dinner table at the Firehouse, that we are going to have dinner if it's on his shift, because some of the houses, our substations, are very small, and so they have a difficult time to actually doing dinners with each other all the time. So they do he makes sure that you're going to have a dinner. I don't care if I have to do it, if you have to do it, but we're going to do it because the death of the fire of the table is what's breaking us apart. We need to sit down, break bread together, cook together, and we're going to develop that bond.
Exactly. And in the absence of that, everything falls apart, and hate and discourse enters the picture, and disdain and all the rest of the stuff, and patience is out the window, and everything else with it when we let that go away. Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're starting to wind down a bit here, Chief. So are you also want to hit on obviously the big show that's coming up in a few weeks, FDIC, and are you going to be there?
Oh, yes, sir. I am every year. I've been attending FDIC. That's gonna make me old, since the early '90s. Like I said before, I'm with Fire Engineering Magazine as one of their authors and editorial advisors since 1995. And then back then, it's Clarion now. Back when it was Penwall, we bought the conference and did the first show in '96. Um, so I've been on the advisory board since then. So I not only am as John Salk and I teaching our 5-hour leadership workshop on Monday, pre-conference. Thursday, we're doing a newer program that we've already been teaching. We've been out there teaching. It's based on a program, an article we did called A Firefighter's Fire Chief.
Okay.
Everything behind that. And then we'll be in the book booths. We'll be doing all kinds. I have to sit through a few classes, evaluate new instructors. But yeah, I'm at fire. I'm at FDIC the whole week, and I've got a handful of our Lucas guys will be attending as well.
That's great. So your department's sending some of the Lucas guys as well?
Yes, they're sending. We've spread it out: assistant chief, a captain, and this time a driver. And a lot of times what they try to do, Louisville does it, where the of the year recipients.
Okay.
Say, hey, you're the firefighter of the year. Do you want to go? No, then we go to the next person. But yeah.
I was just going to ask you how they're selected, because some departments you either just write an essay or they just say whoever puts the email first gets to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of places will do like I said, the of the years, like the firefighter of the year, the officer of the year, they get first pick, and then someone do a lottery. They'll say who's interested to put all names in there, and they'll walk out to somebody, the staff members, administrative assistant, go ahead, pick it, and she or he picks it out and says, hey, Jonathan's going, Cynthia's going, or whatever, that kind of thing. And then I'm a big believer in, if it's your volunteer department, make sure you're spreading it out. If it's your career department, make sure you're hitting all the shifts.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna do a drawing, draw one from A and then B and then C or whatever. But give everybody the opportunity. It's an experience, that you'll never forget. It's Disney World for firefighters, except we wear fire helmets instead of mouse ears. There's not. I mean, it's just. It's absolutely incredible. I know I'm supposed to say that because I work for them, but it is absolutely incredible.
Ask you a question real quick, because you talked about you're evaluating some speakers or new speakers that you're looking for. What is it that you look for? What are you doing when you're sitting in there?
Well, a couple of things. One is, for those of us on the advisory board, like right now, any article submitted to fire engineering or any class for FDIC on leadership, a lot of tactics strategy. I'm a truck guy. If you know, John Salk and I are the ones that created the written Mayday concept a long time ago. That's us. First writ bag right here. That's me. All that stuff. So I do a lot of written Mayday, a lot of that thing. So what I try to look for, as I do with the articles and with the classes, is validity and credibility. Sometimes it's hard when you're in you go to a classroom, you go, okay, he or she put this class, several hundred classes you review, several hundred. And sometimes you go, it looks good. And then you get in there and I'm like, oh my God, they didn't even talk about their topic. So I try to make sure their bio matches their course. If you're teaching high rise and you don't have a high rise building for 100 miles, you probably should be teaching high rise.
Mhm.
If you're a firefighter, God bless you, you probably should be teaching a class on company officer leadership or chief officer leadership. Stay in your lane kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do is see conduct. I'm a big one. I teach in instructor 1 through 4 about the intro, body, conclusion. Did you hook them? Did you sell them? And then did you rehook them again? Did you hit your mark with your objectives? Did you work the room? Are you using any inappropriate language? Look, everybody kind of cusses, but there's certain words you don't say.
Mm.
There's certain things as an instructor, we know them as trigger words. There's certain words you don't say that trigger a certain response.
Interesting.
There's, you know, John Salka has a disabled daughter, special needs daughter, and I adore her. I love Colleen. There are some people out there that they're still like they're in 4th grade. They'll use the R word or
Gotcha.
whatever. You know where I'm going with that. So
Yes, sir.
you think you're being funny, you're not being funny. They didn't come there to see a comic. They came to learn a class. You can throw some humor, some jokes and stuff like that to loosen up a little bit, but there's a line you don't cross. So number one, we try to make sure that their conduct is appropriate, that their content and what they're teaching matches what they said it was going to be. And then is it a class? We'll sit down in our advisory board meeting and we'll go, what are must-haves? What did you guys know? Oh my God. I went to this class taught by I'll pick out my brother Anthony DeVillo, pretend he's new. Anthony DeVillo, he's a new instructor. He's far from new. Trust me. Anthony, oh my God, we got to get this guy back. We got to get this guy. We're always searching for the next all-star, both as an author and as an instructor. Who's the next all-star? Who's the next John Salka? Who's the next Mike Dugan? Who's the next Frank Vascu? Who's the next one? Let's get that guy, or gal.
I like
Who's the
that.
next Angie Hughes? That kind of stuff. Trying to find them. So there's a list of things we try to check off. Then we come back and when we talk next year, or not next year, when we get together in July. All right, what'd you think? And we'll go. There's a no-fly list. You can end up on a no-fly list in a heartbeat. You cross that line, you're out. They are not going to let you come to the conference and insult people, do inappropriate things or whatever, that kind of thing. We have an obligation to provide the best we can for those that are paying money to come and attend. Sometimes we miss it. Sometimes somebody slips through the cracks and we go, well, we tried and they won't be back. But we're trying to give people that FDIC experience that they're going to talk about for a long time. So, yeah.
Looking forward to it, Chief. That's some great information. It's actually information I've never known, so that's really important. So anybody who's looking to actually be a presenter or instructor, make sure you're listening to this.
If I can, real quick, I'm glad
Absolutely,
you brought that up
please.
because we actually do classes on. So you want to teach at FDIC or write an article or a book. I help a lot of people with that. But when I tell people they're looking to teach a class or write an article, number one, know your topic inside and out. Number two, look, AI is great. I love it. It should be a template that you take and modify. All right, because we can spot that. Don't steal other people's shit. Don't cannibalize. Don't. You know what? There's a lot of carpetbaggers out there. Look, there's vendor search is vendor search. When you teach vendor search, tell us your story. Store fires. Tell us your stuff. I don't want you to write citations through the whole thing about 10 books you read. Just take me the books. I'll go read them. We want you to be Mike. I want you to come and teach from your heart, from your soul. Know your topic. Teach something you're comfortable with. Sell people. Know you're going to teach to the whole fire service. I'm going to teach to some Chicago guys or FDNY guys or LA guys. No, you're teaching the whole fire service. So master your topic. Know your stuff. Use your own stuff. Find your niche, find something that you love. I got a great idea. If you're going to write an article for the magazine, you should probably read the magazine and go back and go, I've had guys go, but I got a great article. They turned me down. I go, dude, that's because last month they actually published something on your same topic. You're going to have to wait about a year. Plus there's different themes. So anyway, do your research before you submit, and I promise you, there's a lot of us that will help you get there. But there's certain marks you have to hit. your due diligence on your part, but the rewards are incredible once you get to that show or once you get published.
That's great advice, Chief. Thank you so much. That's actually really, really helpful. And I know there's a lot of people who are motivated and inspired to actually do this and want to get there. I hear it from a lot of people that saying they want to put in, they want to submit. So here it is, guys. This is this is the source. So make sure you're paying attention to this. And I imagine, Chief, that you're open for anybody to email you or somehow get a hold of you with any further questions if something they're working on.
Sure. You know what? I've got 2 emails. I have the work email. I gave you, um, there's a couple. I'll give you the easiest one. It's Chief Lasky, Lasky @gmail.com. You can find me on the website if you want to reach out to me here in Lucas, Texas. They wouldn't mind it at all, the emails. I may not get back to you right away because I'll be honest, I get a couple hundred emails, text messages, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, all this stuff a day, and sometimes it's hard to get back. Be patient. I'll get back to you. If you're looking to write an article, and I'm talking about fireengineering.com. Go there. There's a whole link. There's a link right on the page there's a link on the FDIC.com page, and there's a link on the fire that tells you how to write an article. It tells you what your needs are. It tells you about your photo caption sheet and how to write a photo caption. It tells you about how to write your bio. It tells you about how many pixels or whatever the hell you need for pictures and stuff. And they have to be able to blow pictures up, do stuff. So if you give them crappy pictures, they're not going to use them. So there's links on the website. You don't even have to call me that you can go to, and they tell you exactly what you need to write an article, exactly what you need to submit a class, and you'll be ahead of all these other guys that are just guessing.
Yes, sir. I love it. And you're absolutely right. The website is actually very user-friendly. I've used it for Firefighter Nation. That's how I was able to publish 2 articles. And like you said, once you're able to do that, it actually becomes fairly easy. And I gotta admit, from firsthand personal experience, the staff has been incredibly helpful. Stephanie White, who is now my boss, for me submitting articles to Firefighter Nation, she has been, 1, very helpful, but 2, forthcoming and honest. And that's what's really great too, is the feedback that I get when I submit an article is either yay or nay, or, hey, tweak this and tweak that, and this is going to be a winner. So people want to see you succeed when you're submitting your articles. So make sure you're very open to criticism, because they want that to work. They wouldn't give you the feedback. You wouldn't give anybody that feedback if you didn't think they had something. So I really appreciate what you guys do at Fire Engineering and Firefighter Nation. And again, once you get those creative juices flowing, 1 article will come into 3, and it's opened right up.
Great job. She'll help any new author get published. She knows what they're looking for, what she's looking for. So I know this, if you hit her up for some advice or some help, she's going to answer you. You're not going to be like, wow, that it's been a year. No, she's busy too, but she will get back to you.
Absolutely. Chief, thank you so much. This was great information. It was a great talk. The hour flew by. There was so much we wanted to talk about. And so, I ask of you, I would love to do this again, because I know we're going to hit on so many more topics. We didn't even scrape that level. So I would love to talk to you again. But also, you do run a podcast as well. So if anybody's looking for more information and to hear more of what you have to say, where can they find your podcast?
Well, we do 3. The 2 we really hone in on. We, John Salka, myself, Chief Scott Thompson, Chief Curtis Bird, we have the 3rd Wednesday of every month at New Central Time at fireengineering.com during the Hump Day Hangouts. The issues and challenges of fire service that John and I started with Bobby Halton on back in the 2000 or whatever. We've been doing it as a class and as a deal. And the other one is the Command Post found on fireengineering.com. John and I have been doing that. I started doing podcasts when they weren't called podcasts in the late 90s for Fire Engineering, and it's all kind of evolved. So yeah, fireengineering.com, you can find it all right.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chief. So with that being said, you all take care, stay safe, and here we go, Chief. Nozzle top.
Nozzle top. There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much. All right.
All right, brother. Thank you. It was my honor.